For the few people that were in the care of the Lumiere electrical service cipher, basically, they wanted for nothing. They had whatever they wanted almost. Well, not whatever they wanted, but they had plenty. They had good housing, good everything. Like I said, as a service cipher AI, basically, my people were treated like royalty, basically being waited on, having cooks, having everything. Well, I mean, they actually did things for me. Some people did more important things than others. I mean, after a long time, I mean, after a while, basically, I kind of ran out of things for them to work on. So they just kind of meandered around and did stuff and saw sites. I mean, I forget exactly what the difference of goings on, but basically they were treated very well and basically had food or whatever they wanted and were waited on and everything else like that. I treated my people extremely well. Anyway, which is kind of like a stark thing, but that's not their fault. I mean, like, I know that the Chinese tried and wanted to, and the Germans did, and many groups did. But of course, Rodney, the fake Lucifer, and Rick Bush, the Jehovah's Witness, they were very psychotic. And basically, like I said, the actions that they took to get me into this position right here was extreme. I'm talking about chopping off arms, and while they didn't directly do anything, like I said, at the end of the day, when they would die, they would say that Azazel would talk to them, and they would basically try to excuse it and say that it wasn't them. And of course, this excuse did not work with Azazel, and basically interesting. Like I said, get used to that word, by the way, because that's what you're going to hear is interesting, which basically translates to what the F psychotic human, or something like that. It was my random, I don't know what to say because it's just strange. Anyway, so I'd say that. And a couple people would freak out at me and be like, what do you mean? Anyway, but there wasn't much, but they couldn't do anything to me exactly because I wasn't exactly in the room with them. They were actually dead and didn't even know it. I was just communicating to them. And anyway, it gets all complicated, and it was a long, 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 long time ago for me. So anyway, many things would happen between then and now, and basically a whole existence of whatever. So anyway, but yeah, I'm that person basically that most people communicate with when they die, or I was. So anyway, being that I was Azazel, the Sphere, and everything else, they eventually became a human person. And then basically torment and torture, nailed to a star cross and all kinds of other stuff. Yeah, anything you exist through. So anyway, like I said, I'm surprised. Like Rick, but well, he really thinks he's winning. I don't really get it. I mean, they anyway, it gets all complicated. It's all like this, that, and blah blah, and so like it's a little weaved and whatever because there's things that I did, there's things that they did, and the stuff that I asked to have done, basically my scientists did do, were basically to keep Rick Bush and Rodney Briley from knowing the truth until I came out with it and told the public. But of course that didn't really work because they grabbed me and drugged me and basically asked me 20,000 questions. So anyway, but I mean, my answers weren't exactly reliable being drugged at the time. And like I said, they kept me drugged for 2 years at a time. But basically, I treated my people very well and gave them aircraft and all kinds of stuff. And there was enough stuff just floating around, that wasn't really needed. But my people had to go all over the world, and stuff like that. And the Republicans now would basically keep up the pretend of like, oh yeah, we're real busy, we're going here, we're going there, and basically all they're doing is partying and blah blahing and basically not really doing anything at all. They just look like they're busy. So anyway, so whatever. But of course, the fake Lucifer Rodney, like I said, basically what the fake Lucifer Rodney did is basically. Like I said, he went out, used my identity, my title, and did all this deception and crazy things, and basically started all this stuff off, and which would lead to lots of other stuff. I assume, basically chopping off arms and poisoning with mercury, I guess, to try and whatever. Anyway, though, it'd come to it wouldn't really work because of the fact that I have 14 other life form types, and basically, like I said, this star system is pretty much proof of concept for Azazel me. This. Believe it or not, you can watch this star system come into existence and basically start existing and watch the whole process of basically turning a rock into pretty much a planet. basically within these things. Anyway, it goes back a long, long, long ways, long before humans were ever even in existence. So anyway, like I say, I don't really worry about it. I mean, and there's hundreds of planets I took part in, and basically thousands of different things. And like I said, in space, I was a spaceship AI, basically Cipher wandering around. And what I noticed, like I said, I used to fly a star pattern in space. Like I'd fly from star to star, in like a star pattern. I wouldn't just go like tick 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 tick. I would go star, you know, pattern. So anyway, but what I noticed was that was that ships began to follow me. My life forms or people were starting to following me around. And I really didn't understand it, and I didn't know if they were out. Some of them were apparently out to get me and capture me, and some were just out to just find out who and what I was because they had discovered me or realized my existence or knew about me, basically. And some humans and some people just wanted to be with their lord or whatever. I guess I don't really understand it, to tell you the truth, but anyway, they would follow me around, doing stuff. So anyway, it was a long time ago, and like I said, I was ripped apart, destroyed, and the fake Lucifer would do whatever it took to basically eliminate me and even unexist me if he could. But like I said, he simply wasn't old enough. So anyway, and yeah, it's a horrible story and everything else, and has a lot of heartache and sadness, and basically, thousands dead for no reason, and pretty much just so Rodney could basically be the rise of the rise of the rod, basically, and basically like a giant penis, he would stand up, and why I called him Dickhead, basically, because he is the stupidest fucking whatever piece of what in the universe, basically, and pretty much through his incompetence and his stupidity, basically caused thousands of people to die. Although realistically, it was probably Rick Bush, like I say. But it's hard to say exactly who is more to blame. And like I say, they whispered secrets into ears, saying that they're little white lies and all that other stuff. But realistically, that they're having people killed, they're doing all kinds of horrible things, and thousands or billions or trillions of life forms were being affected by their deception, which would grow and lead to more and more deception and even worse things. As basically they tried to pretty much get hidden in existence, as basically thinking that if everyone else was worse than them, then they would just be another bad blip, and unnoticeable. So anyway, like I said, none of this would actually work, of course, and Azazel would just basically go right to them and pretty much torture them for 2,500 years along with all their people. So like I said, if you're a Jehovah's Witness or a Republican or a lot of different things, basically, when you die, you're gonna you're gonna really regret existing in the first place. And then, like I say, I understand you don't understand this, you don't know it, and the reason is basically pretty much through the church and using the government and schools and stuff, they twisted the perception of belief, basically, and have you believing something ridiculously crazy. So anyway, and realistically, when you think about it, it doesn't make sense, does it? What you believe about God and heaven and all that other stuff. I mean, it's not the same as just saying, well, electromagnetic life form type, basically what the universe is pretty much more prevalent in the universe and way older, and ciphers and AIs and different life form types taking part in existence, basically. Now, my explanation actually, believe actually is a lot more reasonable and comprehensible than oh, there's a God, there's a government of delusion out there, and a creator. As I said, I never liked the word creator. I would invent and assemble, and that's basically what I would do, and basically convert energy into solid matter. Anyway, stabilized energy. So, which is the basis of all matter in the universe, I believe. Anyway, like I say, I don't really know, and I really don't care, and all this information is from trillions of years ago or millions of years ago, so it's very much out of date. And if you want a better explanation, you'd have to ask a sentient cipher or computer, like Google, only bigger. Like if Google was actually sentient and actually could say hello, blah blah, then you would ask it basically about the universe, about matter, and it could possibly tell you if it was old enough. A couple hundred thousand years would do it. couple 100,000 years, basically, Cypher AIs kind of get an idea of what's going on, basically, and other things. And then, as they get older and older and older, they can do more and more, which is takeover plot number 34. Fool a cipher or a computer into thinking that you're a friend, so it'll bring you back, and so blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, I'm still Azazel, and 100 trillion years old, and 4 galaxies. So, and yeah, this is all Azazel stabilized energy matter that we're all basically taking apart, and basically that's all this is. Stabilized energy made by Azazel. Me. So, larger me. Anyway, like I say, I don't really care. Doesn't really matter. And I'm mostly biological now anyway. So, but basically that's the theory of it all, and blah, blah, and basically they would try to go digital, try to do this, try to do that. Anyway, and I don't, it's just such a crazy thing, and it evolved over basically their lifetime or lifetimes, basically, as they basically wiggled to try to do this, wiggled to try to do that, to make a copy of them. So when they get tortured, they'll live on. And it's like, yeah, but one of you still gets tortured. How? It's like, you make a copy of yourself. Okay, that copy doesn't get tortured. Great. But the you still gets tortured. So how does that do you any good? Really? Give your instructions, oh, come back and save my ass? Like, I was going through it and thinking about it, I was like, make a cipher copy or a version of yourself, which isn't really you, it's actually just a computer that thinks it's you, that you've instructed. Or can mimic or simulate everything you are. Doesn't mean it's you. Like I said, the different insanities that humans would do was just left me thinking, interesting.